Hello, everyone, and welcome to a show, Trading and Technicals with Vishal Mehta. Today is an amazing day. It's a terrific Thursday. We made an all time high on the Bank Nifty, on the Sensex. The Nifty is just about to do that. And I'm going to now ask Vishal a few questions on how to deal with all time highs, which sectors are good. We're going to take questions from the crowd. You can ask Vishal anything at all that you want to know about markets. So, Vishal, welcome to the show. An amazing day to have you.
Definitely, Nainesh. Thursdays are my favorite days. That is the day when, as an option trader, we are most excited. It's not Saturday or Sunday, it's the Thursdays. So it has been a very, very silent few weeks for us. The premiums have been on the relatively very, very low side. So if I'm going to look at weeks, 13, 14 weeks, it's like virtually, I don't think so. Since people have started trading options, they have not seen this kind of low weeks environment. So it's going to be interesting weeks and months ahead for all of us.
Sure. So, Vishal, obviously, before I start, some questions that I have, before I'd ask you to tell us your view on the indices, let me start. The last 2 weeks, all the option sellers have been complaining. Volatility at its low, not enough premium to eat. What's your view? Normally, this happens in December during Christmas, where FIIs have gone for a break and it's only retail and institutionals who are running the market. What's your view?
So
Why this in November?
obviously, it's a very good point that you talked about. There was a time when the FIs used to go for a holidays, and there used to be a lull period second week of December onwards, and everybody's on the festive season. But remember, now there are no FIIs that overtakes the market. It's actually retails who is actually overcome the entire landscape right now. Why November is a question that I don't have an answer, to be honest, because the market go through their own cycles. If somebody says I know the reasons, obviously it is just after fact that because the market has gone into a lull period, you will have your reasoning. But fundamentally, there are no reasons for the market to get lull. And I used to get a lot of question, in fact, on my Twitter and DMs and everything, that why has the market gone so silent? And answer is don't know. Okay, and you have to live with it, because if the market is in a range bound mode, you have to be in the range bound mode. So that's what it is right now.
Sure. So, Vishal, it's an exciting time for us. Indices making all-time highs, and normally with indices making all-time highs, we always love to trade the long side. This time around, like always, Bank Nifty started off with bigger, faster ATH. Nifty is right there. Let me ask you this. First, if you can give us your views on what you think about both the indices. I think the last time around we discussed it and you said, hey, things look positive. Hopefully, we should head towards all time high. Now it's
Yes.
coming true. We are almost there in terms of Nifty, there in terms of Bank Nifty. Tell us
Right.
what's ahead.
Awesome. I think so. Let me, before talking about where the market is heading, let me just share my screen with you. And you let me know once you're able to see the screen. Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
Awesome, awesome. So let's talk about Nifty. And it's a very, very interesting looking what we call as a chart pattern, although not exactly symmetrical, but there is something what we call as a mirror image that is getting formed in the market. Now, if I kind of divide this data, and as I told you, it's not a perfect image, but almost resembling the same. This, when you see over here, this side of the move and this side of the move, you can see there is a concurrence. Then there is a big move up. This is a big move up. Okay. Then there is another fall. Then there was a fall. And now there was a rise on the upside, and this is a rise on the upside. So, yes, if I have to follow this mirror image format, as I told you, that is not an exact image. But I really wanted to show you something very interesting, Nainesh. And this is where your study actually helps you a lot in the, you know, when you learn history. And this is the history what is teaching us, okay? So this was the period, if you remember 2008 crash, and we were able to get the exact symmetry about the market. If you
Yeah,
would have seen this, okay, and this is a similar kind of market patterns. This is a good learning for a lot of people who are learning why history repeat itself. This is a classic example of how history repeat itself. Can you see the resemblance?
wow.
So that's what I'm looking at it, and this is all my learning of my past years of how the market kind of mirror each other again and again and again and again. And this is what we have been seeing also in the current scenario. So you have this fall and then followed up by a rise. And this is what happened in the current scenario as well. If I go back and put it over here, if you see over here, I'm not saying exactly, but there is the similarity is uncanny. So if I bit here, there was an uncanny resemblance between the two, right? Then there was an up move, which was followed by over here. Obviously, the magnitudes have changed a little bit in this scenario. It's not a perfect image because here the market would have stopped here, which is stopping over here. But this is what it kind of shows you right now. And now what it shows is still there is one more lag is waiting, or maybe we have another mirror image coming here and then breaking out. But to be honest, I feel that we are into this resistance zone, and Nifty is going to pick up from here. It is heading into a resistance zone of an all-time high, as we can see over here. So once we are in the range of 18,500 to 18,600, we are going to face a lot of resistance. But guys, if 18,600 is taken out, we are in a new territory. Remember that I always love when an index or an stock is an all-time high territory, because that's what it's showing is there is a major strength in the market and you're going to get benefit from it. And when I'm talking about Bank Nifty, it is already in the new sphere. As you rightly mentioned, it has broken out. And I remember we talking about the last month that all is looking well. The market is all about the moving average. The only thing that we have to do at that point of time is follow the trend. Okay. And in this current scenario, I would advise if somebody wants to start building up a long position, he can just come here and just put a indicator like a super trend, which is like a trailing stop loss, and continue to trade the market on the long side. Now, you may think of Vishal, Nifty is at an all-time high. Nifty is at, Bank Nifty is already crossed the all-time high. What should we look out for? So let's analyze the sectorial performance for the time being. So that's a very interesting looking, kind of data that I'm looking at. So on a monthly chart, I can see infrastructure has gone up the most. Metals, oil and gas, cement, these are not the usual suspect that you get when the market is making an all-time high. Usually you get banking, you get
Yeah,
technology, you get finance. These are the ones that are leading the pack usually. This is the time it is more of infrastructure, metals and oil and gas. And obviously the OI increment is little bit, it's all price moves. So we have to wait and watch of how these sectors are playing out in the coming months. But definitely not a super bullish breakout, I would call it, because of the real sectors that needs to be the front line, they are missing the action. And if I'm going to go in the look in the stocks as well, like infrastructure, which stock moves up? Adani ports, they constitute the major portion of the up move on the upside. Whereas on the metal side, I can see over here, I can see Jindal Steel, JLW Steel. So there is a little bit of buying happening on the steel sector. So let's wait and watch. I'm not saying okay, go out and start pumping money in your stocks, but just be on a cautious watch out. Since the breakout is done, but not with the leaders that we would have expected. And this is what I think that market, kind of take forward from here.
Yeah, I think good point, Vishal. So one is Nifty is almost there, could do a mirror image, and this is something which is very interesting. I couldn't notice it, or I haven't actually looked at it that way, but very interesting what you made on the charts. The second one, which you mentioned, very important. This time around, we are near all times, but there are different sectors leading it, and that's something which is interesting. Banking, though, is one of them, and you can see it through the Bank Nifty. Now, tell us, that's quite a bit on the index. And index, as we learned it, all-time high is one of the best times to kind of trade the index. Tell us, one Nifty, you would still be conservative until it breaks out, right? What should
Yes.
a retail trader do? According to you, how should retail handle this?
Okay, so I'm going to, take my neck out for the first time. Okay, usually that's my personal experience. When the indexes are at an all-time high, the next set of rallies is going to come from the mid cap and the small cap. Okay, that's how the market cycle has always been. Like you have your front leaders going up, breaking a new high, new all-time high, 52-week high. Everybody's gungo about it. The stock has already moved. Now people will think, okay, the Tata Steel has moved up too much. Is the other steel that has not moved up that much, and they try to jump into those kind of stock. So if you guys ask me honestly, okay, where I'm going to see if this all-time high sustains, that's the most important thing. Remember that we have to be closing about 16,000 on Nifty just to make sure, not 16,000, my bad, 18,600 above, and sustain it for a while. And then only we'll be in a good position to say this breakout is very good one. And then we should start tilting our focus from the large cap to at least I would not say very, very small cap or a micro cap, but at least mid cap stocks that we are looking at. But not now. Just we have to hold our horse for some more days before we have a clear breakout.
Sure. The one thing, Vishal, that I've seen this time, even in Bank Nifty, is that it's led this time by the PSU banks. Unlike every time where the Bank Nifty is normally with the heavyweights of the private banks moving up, this time the PSU index looks very, very attractive. And all the PSU banks across the board, irrespective of the size, have been pushing the Bank Nifty up. So again, like Nifty, the way you mentioned, this time even Bank Nifty, there is a certain shift of the leaders. Now, for the crowd, okay, for everyone who's watching us live today, please put your questions. This is an opportunity to ask Vishal anything that you want. You could ask him, about your previous trades, about stop losses, about targets, risk rewards, anything at all. I have a question, Vishal, from the crowd. Before I take you to a few questions I have, is one, can you tell us more about volume indicators? That's what
Sure.
Ramesha wants to know.
Sure. So, Ramesha, I think so. There are quite a few volume indicators that you can incorporate into your study. And always remember, okay, always remember that who moves the market, not the retail participant like us. Okay, the market is moved by the participants who are having a deep pockets like mutual funds, insurance, or an institutional player. The best part about that is they cannot hide their volume. Okay, they cannot, even whatever they try, they cannot hide their volume because they're trading on a big volume and they have to accumulate a lot of stocks. So people will tell you, and they're right also, that you can use volume weighted average price, you can use anchored VWAP, you can use on balance volume. There are so many other indicators on the volume, but if you ask me, what is that one volume indicator that I keep on my chart? It's very simple. I just put a volume and then I plot a 50-day average volume. Okay, about the volume. So whenever there is more than 100% of the average volume, these are the stocks that I keep an eye on, and specifically when they are breaking out of their 52-week high or an all-time high. Remember, at an 52-week high or an all-time high, people will tend to sell more. But if somebody is having a green candle and the breakout is genuine and it is crossing above It's 50-day average volume more than 100%. That means a lot of people are expecting the stock to do even further better. So just in your analysis, put the volume, put the moving average, and calculate the average volume and the main volume and find out the percentage.
Amazing. I think that's one of the best indicators that there is action happening. And post these volumes, you could also track how much of the total volume was delivered, and that will give
Yes.
you a fair idea, of what the action is. And just to tell you, on the Fisdom app, we have this data available where we give a study of not only the volumes but also the percent of deliveries, which will help you understand what the big hands are doing in the market. So price supported by volumes is a very good indicator.
So that's also very interesting point that you raised, Nainesh, about the delivery. Because why, you need to keep a track of delivery, but at least on the mid cap and the small cap stocks, which are not part of the FNO. Now, in FNO, it may get little trickier because if somebody is doing a cash and future arbitrage, he will be buying over here and taking the delivery and selling in the future. So that way, there is no intention of the stock to be accumulated or to push the prices higher or lower, right? So that's where आपको देखना है कि in terms of what is the buying and selling. किसी ने लिखा हिंदी में बात कीजिए. So maybe all of a sudden my accent went into Hindi.
Sure, sure. And we also have one suggestion saying start a separate program in all our base language. We'd love to do that. As and when we have guests with who can speak those languages, we'll try that. Vishal, the next question, and I think there was another interesting question. I'll take that. How do you select a stock for intraday trading?
Okay, that's a very interesting point. So I used to, in fact, in Fisdom channel, we have done this intraday mean reversion trade. Okay, so what we do is very simple. We don't have a very rocket scientist method of selecting a stock. We are mostly, okay, we are mostly into short selling on the intraday. There was a lot of research done by us, and we figured out that market tends to do a big momentum on the downward side. The market tend to do a negative momentum during the intraday. So we select the stock which has moved up more than 3% yesterday, and we go and short them 1% above yesterday's high.
Yeah, that's a very interesting setup that we learned. So I urge you to actually go out and watch that video. We have a special guest with a question, Vishal. I'm going to take that. I'll do a call out for him as well. We have Kiru who's asked the question, and just to announce, Kiru is also going to be a part of our FYI show very, very soon. So I'm looking forward to conversing with him. But his question is an amazing question, and I think a lot of retail participants have this. How do you manage your long-term investments? Please share your inputs on how do you manage long-term investments.
See, that's what Kiru is good about. He wears a multiple. Hey, Kiru, he wears a lot of multiple hats. In terms of he has his long-term investment hat, then he has his what do you call them?
Systematic.
Algorithmic trader, systematic trader hat, and somewhere he also has an hat of a discretionary trader where he'll come out with some random setup. But unfortunately for me, the worst part, and you can I have it like voiced out pretty well in previously as well. My most of my income is always into trading. I actually not into long term investment, and which is one of the regrets that I have kept for myself for a longest period of time, because my mindset did not allowed me. Because whenever I see being a technical analyst, if the stock is going down, I would sell it. I would not rather wait it for that long term to keep it and don't wear that hat. So the thing that I've started doing is started putting out onto ETFs, and this is what has really helped me in the past few years to put everything on ETFs and start doing covered call writings on that ETFs as well, and try to generate certain alpha. So that's how I manage my long term investment. Don't have any strategies or anything of that sort. I do swing trading a lot. I buy and then sell it in 5 to 10 days or 15 days, depending on my targets are reached or my stop losses are reached.
Yeah, sure. So, Vishal, I do a lot of investments using charts as well, and I kind of want to point out. I'm sure Kiru knows the strategy, but it's probably kind of buy in all-time high stocks with
Mhm.
longer dated charts, monthly charts. Put out a moving average of let's say 13 months moving average, and trail it. Just see how the stocks kind of do. The best part is, sometimes when you even go to a quarterly chart and use a moving average on that, you will be shocked to see the multi baggers that we have in our A group. They've only maybe once or twice broken that average for a small week's time frame. Otherwise, they've respected the average completely throughout, and they've all been always above the moving average. So that's something which is comforting. And I do my investments like that. Every time they come closer to the average, that's my time to buy in for the long term. And obviously, SIP is continuous. And yeah, keep trailing it, and that's where the money is. So
Sure. So I'm very surprised, Nainesh. There are no questions that is haunting everyone right now about the volatility,
I was
and
going to ask you.
that's one. So that's the one of the questions, right? So I've been getting a lot of questions, and I can follow the Twitter timeline and the social media, and everybody saying that the premiums are very less, so there is no point of selling options, which is brilliant point, right? It's like if you are into a city, you are not going to drive at 80 kilometers per hour, and when you are on a highway, you really don't want to drive at like 20-30 kilometers per hour. Obviously, you change your dimension based on the surrounding that you are in. And interestingly, for us, we are still trading the same strategies, be it high wall or low wall. We are trying to see, but what we are seeing, Nainesh, is we are still able to pocket a decent premium because
Right.
we run a different side of models. We have something called as fixed premium models, and we have something called as ATM straddle models. Now, what happens is when the volatility is very high, okay, the premium, say assuming I'm selling only 100 rupees premium,
Yeah.
so when the volatility is very high, it gets expanded. Okay,
Sure.
automatically the strike expands, and the volatility is low, the strike comes near. And some of the times we are just trading the ATMs, which is
Yeah.
where the maximum amount of premium and theta decay is available. So when we are combining these two multitude, we are able to generate at least sufficient alpha, so about 2 to 3% on our portfolio.
Wow, very interesting because I've seen that a lot of option sellers have gone on break. They're saying,
Yes,
"Hey, this is not meant for us." Small spike can hit you out of the market because
yes.
of the low ball. I have a question here and a very interesting one from Shiv. So, what are the price action patterns that are high probability trades, especially during low VIX periods? Because a lot of stocks are failing to give breakouts.
So one of the kind of the setup that usually works is when everybody will think that there is going to be a breakout. So you actually trade and breakout failure. So let me just give you with an example. Okay, let me just share my screen.
Sure.
So although we have not backtested it, but we have been, there is a sound logic behind it because people who knows me wants to backtest everything and then before saying anything. So that's the problem. But this is what we call as a NR4 range breakout failure. Okay. Now, if I say NR4 breakout failure, what does it mean? Okay, let me just take this. So there is this, market behavior that you are seeing. The, every day the range is getting expanded. Contracted, contracted, contracted. Now you have a. This is day four. This is day three.
Vishal,
Day two.
you need
Yeah.
to share your screen.
Oh, I haven't screen. I thought I shared the screen. Okay. Let me just share it one more time.
Yeah,
Let me know you are able to see the screen now. Paint.
yeah, yeah. I can see it.
So here you can see there was a day 4, day 3, day 2, day 1. So today's range was the lowest among the last 4 days.
Okay.
Now a lot of trader thinks that whenever there is a breakout or a breakdown from this range of this last 4 days, you go long, okay? Because that's where the from the volatility contraction to volatility
Yeah.
expansion happens, and most of the trader goes long over here because the volatility is so low. Usually, you will have a breakout in one direction, and then eventually you will see the prices coming down and actually breaking down on the lower side. And this is the opportunity where you really want to capitalize this. Whenever there is a breakout failures in the low volatility regime, you really wanted to do something called as a breakout failures rather than trading the breakouts. So if you see, I'll give you a simple example. Few weeks, no, not few weeks. In fact, last week only we were very positive about Paytm, Policy Bazaar because they were trading at their all-time lows. Although I hate them because I was anticipating the market is going to break out on the upside,
Yeah.
and then this new fintech startups and everything will gain the momentum. And I have no wills and fancies of accepting I was wrong. Okay, there was a breakout on the upside, but when they started breaching their all-time low again, you just cover your position, and provided they were in FNO, I would have gone short, but they were not. So intraday you can play them on the short side, and that's how you start thinking that what usually works in a good market in a low volatility regime, it tend to fail.
Sure, yeah. So it's the common market scenario. Low volatilities breakouts normally kind of fail, and be careful. The one thumb rule that I kind of use around breakouts also is one: you wait for a close above the breakout. A lot of times we kind of take our trades preempt the breakout. The prices go up, but then kind of come back in the channel or come back below, and we'll end up hitting stop losses. The second one that you can use is use a confirmation candle after the breakout. That's kind of you might miss some trades doing that, but will help you, at least not risk the money every time you're trying to preempt a breakout.
Yeah.
Having said that, Vishal, there are some questions again on the chat. I will not take stock specific questions. So, sir, we'll not take stock specific. Let's talk about broader trading styles. I'll take a question saying, okay, we have someone. Okay, let's take it from Delta. Okay, मैंने पास में यूनियन बैंक लिया था और कुछ प्रॉफिट में सेल कर दिया. उसके बाद ये स्टॉक बहुत ज़्यादा अप हो गया. हम हमें कैसे पता चलेगा कि 47 से 67 तक रैली आएगा? Okay, so I'm going to reword it. Okay, Vishal. So his question is, how will you know that now stock prices are going to go up? Maybe you'll want to explain that.
आई विश क्योंकि मुझे ये मतलब बिकॉज ये लास्ट इन हिंदी आंसर इन हिंदी. काश मुझे पता होता था कि ये 47 का 67 हो जाता तो मैं भी ले लेता था. द आंसर इफ समबडी सेज दैट उनको पता था, या तो वो भगवान है या तो झूठ बोल रहा है. ठीक है, नो बडी नोस कि वो भाव बढ़ेगा कि क्या होगा. सो एज अ ट्रेडर द ओनली थिंग दैट यू कैन डू इज द रिस्क मैनेजमेंट. ओके, और उसमें कुछ ट्रिगर पॉइंट्स है जो आपको ध्यान रखना है. सो आई हैव जस्ट पुल्ड आउट द यूनियन बैंक चार्ट. लेट मी जस्ट शेयर इट विथ यू. ठीक है, if you see over here union bank, can you see the chart?
Yeah, yeah, we can.
If you look at the chart, it's a very interesting looking chart. Why? I'll tell you why. Because look at the stock was trading at one point of time at 400 and came down at 14 rupees. Now, people who knows me really well that I trade only 52-week and all-time high breakouts, barring few instances where I've taken on the downside. And the simplest thing, आप सबसे सिंपल चीज क्या कर सकते हो पता है? एक 52-week हाई का एक फिल्टर रख दो, क्योंकि अभी जब भी ब्रेकआउट हुआ था दिस वाज द 52-week हाई प्राइस अराउंड 54. मैं 47 में तो मुझे नहीं पता था कि क्या होने वाला है, लेकिन जैसे ही वो 54 55 के ऊपर क्लोज हुआ, आई वुड गो लॉन्ग. और एंड देन व्हाट आई वुड डू इज, मैं क्या करूंगा, एक सुपर ट्रेंड का स्टॉप लॉस डाल दूंगा. सो लेट इट रन. ये 67 शायद 200 तक का प्रीवियस जो टॉप था वहां तक चला जाए, या उससे भी ऊपर चला जाए 230, या शायद उससे भी ऊपर 400 तक चला जाए. कोई नहीं जानता कि ये कहां तक जा सकता है. लेकिन आपको क्या करना है, एक बार आप फेवर में आगे ट्रेड के, तो आप क्या करो, आप स्टॉक को ट्रेल करते रहो, आपकी पोजीशन बढ़ी हुई है, अभी आप प्रॉफिट बुक मत करो। जैसे जैसे इसका जो स्टॉप लॉस है 57 का, आप स्टॉप लॉस लेके चलो, आपने थोड़ा प्रॉफिट तो बुक कर ही लिया है, तो आप वैसे भी आपकी कॉस्टिंग कम हो गई, और इसको रन करने दो। वही प्रॉब्लम है बहुत सारे ट्रेडर का, और मेरे लिए भी बहुत ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम है। मैं एक्सेप्ट कर लेता हूँ कि मैं लॉन्ग टर्म नहीं देख पाता। मेरे शॉर्ट टर्म में कितना भी मेरे से ट्रेड करा लो, मेरे से हो जाएगा, क्योंकि मैं एल्गो से ट्रेड करता हूँ। लेकिन द बेस्ट पार्ट इज टू होल्ड ऑन टू योर विनिंग ट्रेड्स फॉर अ लॉन्गर पीरियड ऑफ टाइम।
Yeah, I think those are words of wisdom. Hold on to your winning trades for a longer period of time. We actually end up doing the opposite. जो लॉस में है वो डीमैट में रखते हैं, जो प्रॉफिट में है वो जल्दी बेच देते हैं। प्रॉफिट में किसी को खड़ा नहीं रहना होता है, एंड दैट्स समथिंग व्हिच वी हैव टू गेट रिड ऑफ द माइंडसेट।
उसका एक रीजन है नैनेशन, इट्स मोर साइकोलॉजिकल। ठीक है, एंड आई कीप ऑन टेलिंग अबाउट दिस एवरीवेयर आई गो। पर ये हम लोग को बचपन से सिखाया है कि स्टॉक मार्केट में कैसा पैसा नहीं बनाया जाता। तो आपका क्वेश्चन यही होता है कि ऐसा कैसा, क्योंकि बचपन से हमको सिखाया गया है कि लाइफ में अगर सक्सेसफुल होना है तो यू हैव टू बी राइट ऑल द टाइम, आपको हर बार राइट होना पड़ेगा। अगर आप 10 में से 9 मार्क लाते हो तो मम्मी कभी भी नहीं पूछेगी कि बेटा आपने 9 मार्क लाया, वेरी गुड। मम्मी क्या पूछेगी, 1 मार्क कहाँ चला गया। तो आपके माइंड में वो बैठ गया है कि भाई मुझे अगर सक्सेसफुल होना है तो मुझे हर बार राइट होना है। और ट्रेडिंग ही ऐसा एक प्रोफेशन है, ट्रेडिंग ही एक ऐसा प्रोफेशन है जहाँ पे आप ज्यादा रॉन्ग होके भी सक्सेसफुल हो सकते हो। आप कभी भी डॉक्टर बहुत ज्यादा गलत होके सक्सेसफुल डॉक्टर नहीं बन सकते। आप ऐसा नहीं बोल सकते मैंने 5 ऑपरेशन अनसक्सेसफुल इसलिए मैं सक्सेसफुल डॉक्टर बन गया, या मैं अनसक्सेसफुल इंजीनियर हूं, मैंने बहुत सारे गंदे ब्रिजेस बना दिए और अभी मैं सक्सेसफुल हो गया। लेकिन यही एक प्रोफेशन है जहां पे आप ज्यादा अनसक्सेसफुल रह के भी यू विल बी बिकमिंग अ प्रोफेशनल सक्सेसफुल ट्रेडर। तो वही प्रॉब्लम है कि लोगों को प्रॉफिट जैसे ही दिखता है तो वो बुक कर लेते हैं, क्योंकि उनको लगता है कि मेरे को राइट होना है। उनको वो नहीं है कि मुझे पैसा बनाना है, उनको राइट होना है। और इसीलिए वो लोग ज्यादा प्रॉफिट बुक कर लेते हैं लॉस में। लॉस कभी होगा जब भी मैंने बुक किया तभी। अगर मैं लॉस बुक ही नहीं करूंगा
हाँ, तो नो
तो
स्ट्रेस।
how would I book the loss? I will put it in the demat, and that's the problem with many traders.
Yeah, and I think that's something we need to get rid of. You rather have holdings which are multiplying in the demat than have holdings which are constantly breaking your money in the demat account. So with that, I'll take like a few good questions that I'm getting on the chat. One very important one, as an option seller, please discuss what about VIX and the option premiums. We already spoke about it, but currently, due to low premiums, how do you kind of handle it? Vishal, just we discussed it, but do you want to kind of take this question? Uh,
Sure. So I think so. What we have over a period of time realized, okay, when we backtested enough number of data, specifically on the weekly options or maybe on the monthly options, there is a low correlation vis-a-vis the index or the market and the wallet option returns. Now, what do I mean by that? What do I mean by that is कि अगर मार्केट एक अप ट्रेंड में चल रहा है या फिर वो ऑल टाइम हाई ब्रेकआउट करके ऊपर की तरफ जा रहा है, देयर इज नो अनसर्टेनिटी इन द मार्केट। When there are no uncertainty in the market, there is no volatility in the market. And when there is no volatility in the market, there is no VIX and there is no premium for you to pocket on. And that was a classic example in 2017. And Kiru would agree with me. We have backtested enough strategies, okay, जो 2017 में has not given an optimal amount of return. And on the other hand, okay, now let's take an example of now only. We are at an all time high, the VIX at an all time low, almost.
yeah,
Similarly, take an example of Jan Feb March of 22 or the fall of Corona crash, okay, or April May June return. The beauty about them is it is inversely correlated or lowly correlated, because when the market falls, there is a lot of uncertainty in the market, or वो uncertainty brings a lot of volatility. And as an option seller, that's a dream come true for us. So that's what I wanted to highlight on that. Why we also trade. When we trade, what we do is we put our stocks into pledge, okay, and trade in options market. Now this has a very good benefit for you. क्यों? क्योंकि अगर मार्केट ऑल टाइम हाई जा रहा है तो अपने स्टॉक के अंदर तो रिटर्न बना रहे हो आप, एंड वही स्टॉक का आपने प्लेज करके जब ये ऑप्शन सेलिंग की हुई है, यू आर गोइंग टू गेट एन सब पार रिटर्न vis-a-vis, like 25 to 35% or 20% return per annum or not per month.
Yeah.
Okay. And if the market starts going down, your long only portfolio will suffer. But at that point of time, the option book may not cover the entire loss, but it will give you a sufficient cushion for you to make some money. Because in fact, in Jan, Feb, March, we made about 12%
Wow.
when the market was correcting. So when you make that money, what you take? You take that money and push it into your long-term investment. So it's like a PE cycle. If market goes up at a higher PE, you start selling shares,
Yeah.
and when the market comes down, you buy PE share, like at a lower PE, you start buying at a lower end, and when the again market goes up, because you are accumulating the stocks when the market is falling. And that is the interesting part of how you can do this rotation of money, and which is very interesting, and we have seen an amazing result out of it.
Yeah, I think this is Vishal, one of the best answers that we've got. The understanding of VIX to markets, and then how is the probable behavior with the VIX. The next one is a question which every discretionary trader has. I'm sure you've been asked this question a lot of times. How do you overcome fear of taking new trades after losses?
That's
I've
a
asked you
difficult.
this. Yeah, and it's a very important question, I think, and
Correct.
someone who's been there is the best person to tell us. So shall tell us, how do you overcome fear?
The best way to overcome fear is to do that thing again and again and again and again. It may sound very funny, it may sound like a novice answer, बट जो ऋतिक रोशन जो माउंटेन ड्यू में जो डायलॉग मारता है ना, डर से मत डरो, डर के आगे बढ़ो क्योंकि डर के आगे जीत है. And it may be a very, we can take that statement in a very lightly and a humorous way, because when we are speaking here, but it has a lot of value in it. Okay, because I've been in the market for a longest period of time. I have made money, I have lost money, I blew up my account few times and came back again. And what I've realized is, in this market, there is money to be made, first of all. Okay? And there is ample amount of money to be made. Now, what was missing was the consistency and discipline. Acha, he wants to answer in Hindi. Okay, we'll try to give in Hindi as well.
Sure.
क्योंकि बेसिकली आपको डिसिप्लिन के साथ, ओके, डिसिप्लिन के साथ अगर आप करते हो कोई भी चीज, और बहुत अगर आपको लॉस हो रहा है तो आपकी पोजीशन साइज कम कर दो. जहाँ पे आप 3 लॉट्स कर रहे हो या 5 लॉट कर रहे हो तो आप 1 लॉट पे चले जाओ, लेकिन वो करते रहो. क्योंकि सबसे ज्यादा आपको कॉन्फिडेंस कभी आएगा आपकी सिस्टम पे, जब भी आपकी सिस्टम 2 ड्रॉडाउन से बाहर निकले. आई रिमेम्बर मेरे जो 2 ड्रॉडाउन थे, नवंबर 2020, दिसंबर 2020, ओके, एंड मई 2021 and June 2021. These are the two major drawdowns for me personally. But I traded my systems. Maybe added few low risk, low return strategies also during that period. लेकिन जो high risk, high return strategies, I used to trade them till it became profitable. So the idea is कि आपकी जो strategies है, ड्रॉडाउन में जाती है तो आप उनको तब what वही टाइम वर्स्ट टाइम है आपको छोड़ने का. सो यू नीड टू ट्रेड देम, एंड ऑलवेज रिमेंबर दैट अगर आप ड्रॉडाउन में नहीं जी सकते हो, देन यू आर इन द रॉन्ग बिजनेस. इन ट्रेडिंग आप 95% ऑफ द टाइम ड्रॉडाउन में ही रहोगे. व्हाट डू आई मीन बाय दैट? क्या आपने समझ लो 5 लाख से अपना इक्विटी अकाउंट चालू किया, एक अच्छा ट्रेड हुआ, आपने 15,000 बना लिए, अब खुश हो गए. नेक्स्ट दिन 600 800 1000 रुपए का लॉस हो गया तो आपका और इक्विटी काउंट कम हो गया. फिर तीसरे ट्रेड में शायद आपने 5,000 बनाए, बहुत लकी हो, पर उसके बाद आपके ट्रेड बैक टू बैक लॉस में ही जाएंगे. मतलब इट हैज बीन कैलकुलेटेड स्टैटिस्टिकली कि 90% ऑफ द टाइम यू विल बी अंडर द ड्रॉडाउन. मतलब आपने एक हाई बनाया, फिर आप वापस नीचे लो में चले जाओगे और नीचे ही रहोगे विद इन फ्यू ट्रेड्स, देन यू विल अगेन मेक अ न्यू हाई. पब्लिक 90% ऑफ द पब्लिक, और मेरा एक दोस्त है जो खुद का भी एक ब्रोकरेज हाउस चलाता है, उसने मुझे ये स्टैटिस्टिक्स बताया था 90 90 90. तो मैंने उसको पूछा कि भाई ये 90 90 90 क्या है. ही सेड 90% of the client loses 90% of their capital in the first 90 days of opening up their accounts. मैं एक बार वापस से रिपीट करता हूँ. 90% of the trader lose 90% of the capital in the first 90 days. It is very high risk and उसका रीजन है क्योंकि हम लोग कभी गलत नहीं होना चाहते थे. हम लोग जब भी डॉक्टर बने थे, हम लोग इंजीनियर बने, हम लोग सीए बने, हम लोग एमबीए किया, एवरी टाइम वी वर ऑलवेज राइट and that's why we succeeded. But in trading you will be more wrong. But if you keep your risk to reward ratio 1:2 1:3, आप पैसा कमाओगे.
Sure. So, Vishal, in fact, to get rid of the 90-90-90, we started our initiative of 1% Academy to
Yes.
ensure that, we bring most of the retail traders to the top 1% to understand how exactly stocks are analyzed, how to pick your stocks, futures and options. That's the next program we've started. I'd like to take some time to talk about it. So we have the next program on the 1% Academy. After successfully training 225 people in the last 3 months on technical analysis, futures and options, the most asked for course, we started it, we've launched it. We're going to start on 3rd of December, and it's a 1 month course. We've got expert traders, Jyoti Budia, Mr. Santosh Pasi. They've been in the markets as F&O traders for about 15 years to 30 years. And we'll be very excited to teach what are futures, what are options, how are they traded, some strategies for, the basics to start off with. So very excited to, launch this course. Also, students get a 50% scholarship. So all the students who would like to be a part of this program, please come out and learn. The earlier that you learn, the faster it is, to make money. And I always regret that, the faster you start. I mean, I started at 17. I feel I'm late. The faster you start, the better it is. Let me go back to a few questions, Vishal. So there was one question. Is there any website or indicator that helps you to know what a stock will be next day? And,
Next,
next day, what will it be up or down?
I wish that, and if anybody would have an answer to, but jokes apart, I would give you that do an analysis. Okay? At least I don't know about the next close, but I can tell you about the next open. Okay? If today is a green candle, today is a green candle, there is a very high probability the next day open will be a green candle. Because the stock market में there is something called as टाइम सीरीज कोरिलेशन. अगर आप कॉइन फ्लिप करते हो, एक कॉइन फ्लिप करते हो, तो कॉइन डजंट नो कि प्रीवियस में हेड आया था या टेल आया था. सो द इवेंट्स आर इंडिपेंडेंट. ओके, बट व्हेन इट कम्स टू द स्टॉक मार्केट, it is not a coin. Market has a memory because market is made up by people like us. And when we are happy, we continue to be happy for some more days. We are not completely random. If we are happy, we are going to be happy for few days. We are sad, we are going to be sad for few days, right? Same thing happens as a collective psychology of human behavior. कि if there is a closing on a positive note, there is a very high probability that the next day open will be on the green side. And if the market is on the red, there is a high probability, and mind you, I'm using my words very carefully, क्योंकि आप जो बोलते हो ना वो आपके दिमाग में भी जाता है. कोई छाती ठोक के बोलते हैं ना कि आज रेड है तो कल रेडी होगा. प्रॉब्लम है जैसे ही ग्रीन होगा तो आपने पूरी दुनिया को बोल दिया है कि रेडी होना चाहिए, एंड यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू मैनेज योर पोजीशन. बट अगर आपने माइंड में बोला था हाँ, देर इज अ हाई प्रोबेबिलिटी बट स्टिल देर इज अ चांस आई कैन बी रॉन्ग, दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम यू कैन कवर योर पोजीशन. बिकॉज आपने सोचा था हाँ भाई, प्रोबेबिलिटी तो हाई था लेकिन मैं गलत भी हो सकता था, एंड एक्चुअली मैं अभी गलत हो गया, तो इट इज ओके टू टेक द लॉस. और जैसे एक लैरी विलियम्स ने एक बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट स्टेटमेंट मेरी लाइफ में कर दिया था कि एवरी बिग लॉस was once very small loss that you refused to take. मैं वापस एक बार रिपीट करता हूँ. Every big loss was once very small loss that you refused to take. इसीलिए it's okay to take small losses, but it's not okay to take big losses.
Yeah, I think this learning, we've taken it and we've taken it many times. It's very important to remember. I've got some very good questions and few of our, friends, and I'll take them very, very quickly. First, I'd like to take a question from Delta, and he's asked an important one. सर, आप लोगों को ने कभी सोचा था कि आप एक दिन ट्रेडर होगे? Can everyone learn trading by doing courses? I'll answer that before I give it to Vishal. The first one is absolutely no. Okay, trading. You cannot like become the best trader, or it's not like आज training ले लिया कल आप बन गए trader. There's a lot of effort required on your end. This is all just a platform to start off. This is for people who don't know where to start off, to learn the basics. It's very tough to grapple with some of these concepts from a textbook or from somewhere where you're not very clear. Hence, 1% Academy has taken this initiative to bring the experts of the markets to come and explain to you what is trading, how to manage risk, your psychology, and all of that. Hence, this is important. The first question, क्या आपने सोचा था कि आप कभी trader होगे? For me, I'll answer. My answer is yes. I always wanted to be one. Although a lot of times I felt I'm not a good trader until I went back, learned something, and came back and got better at it. I'll throw it at Vishal. Vishal, did you ever think you're going to become a trader?
Give me one person who have traded once, even one share ले लिया, and then said कि no, I'm going to go back to the my work. Very, very, very few. Exceptions are there, but I will not consider them as a generalization. For me, I was very clear that I wanted to be a trader. Okay, because I have seen people trading, my father used to be a broker, so I have seen him trading in the ring. It fascinated me. मुझे पता नहीं था वो लोग करते क्या थे, क्योंकि वो चिल्लम चिल्ली करते थे ट्रेडिंग रूम में. बट आई एम नेवर काइंड ऑफ एनविसाज कि वो करते क्या है. लेकिन जैसे जैसे मैं ट्रेडिंग में घुसा, I was pretty sure that I want to leave my job and start trading full time. Having said that, lot of you would have that question कि हम लोग जॉब छोड़ के ट्रेडर बने. My answer to them is it took me 15 years to build up a capital to start trading. Okay, और उसके पहले and also 3 years of buffer कि भाई अगर मेरा ट्रेडिंग फेल हो गया तो मैं 3 साल के बाद अगर जॉब ढूंढने जाऊंगा तो मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा. So these are the three important things that you need to keep in mind. You have to have a will, you have to have a capital, and you have to have a buffer. And when these three things आपकी साथ में match हो जाएगी, then you may want to think of turning into a full-time trader.
Sure, I think the takeaway is will, capital, and buffer. Only then can you start off, because it's always said, the start is not very smooth. It's kind of patchy, and you need to be there, survive it to kind of get there. Everyone has to play a Ranji before you go and play an international match. So I'm going to take a question from Shashank. Shashank's been, one of our followers. He's also put out some trades that he does, and he is himself a trader as well. So his question is on Bank Nifty, Vishal. We can buy Bank Nifty futures, calls, puts, sell futures, and options. Similarly, can we buy or sell Bank Nifty components as well? Example, Axis Bank futures, calls, puts. And if that, how's that managed?
So that's a brilliant question, Shashank. So currently we are ourselves trading mainly on Nifty and Bank Nifty. But having said that, we have a idea that how does the Bank Nifty move? Bank Nifty will move when their underlying component moves. So we are trying to build an algo right now where we are going to keep a track of the constituents, and as and when there is a big movement happening on those constituents, we will jump to the Bank Nifty. So as of now, we don't have it, to be honest. But there is a thought process that we are playing around with, that we wanted to start tracking the Bank Nifty constituents, and whenever there is like top five or top 10 stock, it is almost 12, 13 stocks kind index. It's a top five majorly constitute everything. So we're going to kind of combine them together and see if there is a trend building in that top five stocks, and that is going to influence the direction of the Bank Nifty. So once we have a view, or there is a algorithm which tells us that there is a big uptrend building up in them, we actually go and start playing in Bank Nifty in a bigger way, or maybe with more conviction.
Sure, yeah. So, as a discretionary, Vishal, what I normally do is whenever I'm seeing breakouts in the banking stocks, like one is I'll track the PSU index, I'll track the stocks impacting the PSU index, I'll track the Bank Nifty stocks impacting Bank Nifty, and see where the charts look like, and then trade the Bank Nifty. That's normally the approach that I take. I'm going to take a question from Kapil. Hey, Vishal, the market is near all-time highs. Would you suggest locking a part of the profits by buying long-term puts? What's your view on this?
That's a brilliant question, Kapil, and I would have expected this question from you. So, see, it's give and take and the risk appetite of the trader that you are. Okay. So, if I would say yes, you have to do it, it is wrong. And if I say no, you don't have to do it, it is wrong. Or it is right in both the situation. क्योंकि ये क्वेश्चन का आंसर थोड़ा ट्रिकी है, because it will matter from individual to individual. The person who really wanted to take the benefit of the entire bull move, the long term put option will eat away into your profits. Okay. So if you ask me honestly, in my kind of a book size of a swing trading, because I don't do long term investments, I do more of kind of index and everything, I would let the market turn around and come down and just get out of everything, rather than just buying the put and just trying to lock in and then wait for the market to go even further, and then I need to keep on rolling up my hedges, and then hedge will come at a cost. Every rise I will come at a cost, and after one fine day when it will fall, I will be very happy. But in that period, I would have lost a sufficient amount of alpha that I would have not, kind of lost if I would have not put on hedges. So I'm not a big fan of hedge, but it again varies from a person to person.
Yeah, Vishal, I've got two more questions. Okay, I've got two more questions, and both from people who have been around for a while. One question from Aniket. Aniket's been a young trader. The question is there an optimal level of capital where one can pursue full-time trading, considering they have the knowledge? What's your thought? You have like a optimal capital in your head? Uh,
So, Aniket, I will answer your question in a little different way. Okay. When we think where we have an optimal knowledge, that is the biggest mistake. Forget about the optimal capital. Most of the time, when we are thinking that we have the sufficient knowledge, and when we actually put our money in and there is no backup plan for it, all that optimal knowledge goes out of the window when you start losing money or you're in a drawdown. So it will be a very tricky one. But if you ask me, like, put a gun onto my head and ask me, okay, what should be my capital that I should be trading with? So let's do some maths backwards. Okay, and I'm pretty bad at maths, but at least start. I'm going to put out some thought process in your mind. It all depends on whether you are, running a house or not. I'm assuming you are a young trader, so you are not running your house. But still, because you have just passed your college and you are going to get into a job, you would think at least मेरे को 40-50 हजार महीने का at least to start with. I'm not being very conservative or not very optimistic also. Say about 6 lakh rupees per annum. Okay, you have to at least earn for your family, and on top of that, like that is the bare minimum that you have to do it. Now think that a good trader, there are brilliant traders who done 100, 200, 300%, but let's talk about your sufficient knowledge is like help you to take around 25 to 35% per annum. Now you multiply that with your capital. Okay, so assuming you may need, if I'm going to say about 20%, let's be conservative. Okay, so about 30%, 30 lakh worth of capital should be there for you to generate that bare minimum for you to take care of it. But a lot of people think, hey Vishal, I have a 50,000 in my account. Can I quit my job and start trading? Or Vishal, I have 5 lakh rupees in my account. Can I start trading? And answer is big no. And you may say, विशाल ये 30 लाख तो बहुत ज्यादा है, कुछ कम नहीं कर सकते? एंड आई एम श्योर जिनको ट्रेडिंग सट्टा करना है वो 5 लाख में इतना सुनने के बाद भी 5 लाख से ही चालू कर देंगे. So there is no point of it. But I took 15 years to generate my capital before jumping into trading full time for a reason.
Sure, and I think that's like the bare minimum like check you need to do before you take it up full time. Because, like I said, the experience is not very smooth when you start off. There are lots of ifs and buts that go behind becoming a full time trader. I'm going to take a question from Mangesh, maybe one of our last ones. Mangesh has been a part of our 1% community, and he's been one of the successful traders. So the question which he's asking is, what is the most important suggestion you would give to a trader who has just started off his journey in the stock markets?
Sure, Mangesh. So let's consider trading is a business. Not consider, it is. Okay. Now let's try to compare a business to trading. अगर आप बिजनेस में जाते हो, what is the first important thing that you need to have in a business? What do you think, Nainesh? What do you think is the first most important thing that you have to have in a business?
Capital,
कैपिटल तो है, लेकिन उसके पहले भी एक इम्पोर्टेंट चीज है, प्रोडक्ट.
mindset. Uh,
प्रोडक्ट, कैपिटल प्रोडक्ट अब उससे ही बना सकते हो, बट सबसे पहले तो आपके पास एक प्रोडक्ट होना चाहिए. If I wanted to translate that into a trading, you need to have a trading strategy, right? What is your product? It's your trading strategy. Now, now you need capital. Now to capital manufacture, आपका एक product की idea होनी चाहिए. Similarly, you have to have a trading strategy idea. What do you want to do with it? Now, वो product बनाने के लिए या वो product को market करने के लिए आपको क्या चाहिए? Capital. So दूसरी चीज है आपको capital चाहिए. तीसरी चीज क्या होती है? Even Facebook went through a tough time. Even Apple went through a tough time when they were planning to give up. Okay. Similarly, you have, but they did not give up. They believed in the vision, they believed in the product, and they continued with the product. And eventually, the product became mega hit. Similarly, in trading, you need discipline and business plan. Okay, yes, but you need discipline to stay with your product when the times are going tough. And that is what I would believe. What you need is strategy, capital, and conviction to follow the strategy, or the discipline to follow the strategy. And that's pretty much about it.
Sure. So I think the biggest learning, from the answer was treat trading as a business, and I think Vishal, that still goes in line with what we've been discussing, right? Every business has losses. Every business, has downs and ups. Trading is exactly like that. A lot of people. are excited to make money in trading and come with that thought कि हर दिन पैसा बनना चाहिए, and that's something I think we need to get rid of. So yeah, amazing answer. So with all of that, Mangesh, you will be able to do amazingly well in the markets. By the way, Vishal, before I end today's show, I'm very, very excited to announce that on our next FYI, we have someone who's been a viewer with a question today. So we have none other than Kiru, who's going to be a part of our next FII. That happens on the 2nd. Okay, guys, this is a big announcement today. On the 2nd of December, Friday, we have Kiru, who will be a part of our FII, 6 o'clock. I'm very excited to talk to him. He's been a systematic trader like Vishal. He's been in a lot of forums. One of the most down to earth traders that I've known of. Very excited to learn from Kiru. And for everyone who has questions, please drop it out. And this time around, Vishal, I hope you're going to be a part of this session to hear Kiru and ask Kiru some questions.
110%. I will never leave that opportunity at any cost.
Sure, sure. So, guys, stay tuned to our channel. Ensure that you subscribe so that you get updates on all the super traders. Vishal comes to our platform every month. He's a avid part of our 1% Academy. He's been one of the mentors, ensuring that we are in the right path. He comes and often talks to the community. So, Vishal, thank you so much for that. Looking forward to your upcoming sessions as well. The next expiry, I'm going to be excited to meet you and understand whether Nifty did the replica of what we saw and whether bank is doing what we discussed. So very excited. So thank you so much, Vishal. As
Thank
always,
you.
you've been very, very kind to us. You will never say no to Fisdom, and you share some amazing insights. Thank you, Vishal. Thanks a lot,
Thank you,
guys.
everyone.
Thank you so much for logging in. It was an amazing session with Vishal. Stay tuned. The next expiry happens to be on the 29th of December. Again, same time, Vishal's going to be around on the YouTube channel. He'll talk about some trading ideas, trading psychology. We'll answer all your questions. Ensure that you put your questions here on the comments once this video goes live. Ensure, if you have any questions of Vishal, put it there. We'll ensure that Vishal gives you time and he answers them. And don't forget to subscribe. Kiru is coming next, and looking forward. Thank you. Take care
Thank
and
you,
have a good weekend,
everyone.
Vishal.
You too, guys. Bye bye. Bye, Nainesh.
Bye.